So in my previous discussion, I simply started looking at, the B section, but I think my video cut. But I just want to remind you so that you are able to see. So it was saying discuss factors that affect the rate of transpiration. So when it comes to factors that affect the rate of transpiration, one, let me just summarize them. So they are environmental factors. That's what you need to remember. So some of the environmental factors include light intensity. So that's what we talked about. Light intensity actually stimulates or controls the closing and opening of the stomata. That's what it does. If there's a high light, the stomatas will open up more and hence water vapor is going to be lost. The other thing that we can talk about is humidity. So humidity is simply the amount of water vapor that is available in the atmosphere. There could be high or low humidity, but high humidity reduces the rate of transpiration, but low humidity increases the rate of transpiration. The other one is simply temperature. So temperature is another factor that we can talk about. Temperature is simply the degree of hotness or coldness of a substance. In this case, when there's high temperature, the rate the rate of transpiration increases. Why? Because temperature increases the average kinetic energy of the water molecules, and hence they'll move fast and they will escape, increasing the rate of transpiration. But on the other hand, if temperature is too low, it means that the water molecules will have less kinetic energy, and hence they will not be able to escape as fast as they can. Then the fourth one that we can talk about is what we call as being wind, or we can simply say air movement. So the rate at which air is moving. So the movement of air actually helps, regulate the amount of water vapor that is available or surrounding, the leaf. So the presence of wind blows away, the layer of humid air, and thereby increasing the rate of transpiration. So it blows away the humid air, and that increases the rate of transpiration. Another factor that you can simply talk about is maybe you could also include atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure, leads to, if at all the atmospheric pressure has increased, it actually leads to a decrease in evaporation. Yeah, so that's what we mean. So high atmospheric pressure, you are going to find that places that have high atmospheric pressure, it simply means that there's going to be a decrease of evaporation, and that in turn reduces the rate of transpiration. So these are environmental factors, but we can also talk about what we call as being structural factors. In most cases, when we are teaching you, we only talk about maybe environmental factors, but you can also talk about structural factors that may affect the rate of transpiration, because the question was actually very much general. So what are some structural factors that affect the rate of transpiration? Number one, we can talk about the root area. So the root in the water, we know that it actually, is the one that actually absorbs the water. So if at all the root is elongated, it simply means that more water will be absorbed, more water is going to be absorbed, and hence, as more water is actually absorbed, it simply means that more water may actually, be lost. So the root area, you can simply talk about that. Then we can also talk about the leaf surface area. That's another, structural factor that affects the rate of transpiration. What I mean is that the larger the leaf surface area, the higher the rate of transpiration. So that's the idea about it. Then the other thing that we can talk about is simply the leaf structure. So you can also talk about the leaf structure. Now, when it comes to the leaf structure, depending on the structure of the leaf, it may either reduce or increase the rate of transpiration. For example, presence of a few stomata or sunken stomatas generally will always reduce the rate of transpiration. That's what we mean. And another structural feature that I can talk about is simply a thick waxy cuticle. So if at all there's a thick wax cuticle, it actually reduces the rate of transpiration. Yeah, so that's what we are simply talking about. So presence of a thick wax cuticle may reduce the rate of transpiration. And on the other hand, I simply talked about sunken, having sunken stomata that are embedded deep inside the leaf, that may reduce the rate of transpiration. So these are some of the structural factors that can affect the rate of transpiration. So if you wanted, you would have talked about environmental, but you can explain them, or you can highlight structural factors that may actually also suffice, and that's what the question was talking about there. Then if you look at the C part there, the C part, let me just look at the C part. The C part there says explain the significance of transpiration to a plant. In other words, why is transpiration important? Why is it important to a plant? There could be so many reasons that we can talk about. One, transpiration, it helps to cool the plant. Yeah, so it actually cools the plant. It helps to cool the plant during hot weather. So it actually helps to cool the plant, especially during hot weather. So when it is too hot and water is being lost, it simply means it's a way of helping to cool the plant. Another thing, transpiration actually helps. It actually helps in transportation. So we can simply say it helps in transportation of dissolved. So it helps in transportation of dissolved mineral salts needed by the plant. Not only mineral salts, but we can also talk about water and mineral salt that is needed by a plant, because water is needed for photosynthesis. Yes, minerals can actually can also be needed, such as mineral ions, in order to facilitate manufacturing of other macromolecules that are needed by the plant. Then thirdly, I can simply say that transpiration is important to the plant in the sense that it creates, so it actually creates a transpiration. So it actually creates a transpiration pool that facilitates, so that facilitates absorption. So that facilitates absorption of water by the plant. So these are things that you could have actually talked about. So it creates a transpiration pool that facilitates absorption of water by the plant. So basically this is what you could have talked about. So please watch out. In my next video, I'll be answering this question there. Describe the adaptive features of a leaf that help to reduce excess loss of water. See you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe for more so that you can actually learn, and watch out for my other videos in mathematics, physics, chemistry, additional mathematics. And for those of you that are doing pure science, please, you can actually watch out for some series in addition mathematics and other subjects so that you can learn more. Thank you so much for watching.